Okay, Michael, are you guys ready?
Yep, we're ready to go.
Okay, so the first team going up is In Sync. And In Sync, you guys can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, perfect.
Good afternoon. My name is Richa. Manroop, Simran, and I have developed a plan to help take Tunify to the next level. One of the most notable and fundamental principles of entrepreneurship within our mindset is to not let obstacles redefine objectives. Likewise, we've thoroughly examined the scenario and used numerous business decision-making skills to apply the foundational steps required to grow Tunify in the long term.
So first we'll start off with our executive summary. We've conducted a SWOT analysis to help us identify and understand the fundamental areas needing action. Based on this analysis and the data provided, we've examined customer segments to select an ideal target market. We then developed a marketing plan with 5 strategies to target the segment. As for manufacturing, we compared the advantages and disadvantages of manufacturing here in North America compared to overseas. Additionally, we have thought of supplemental applications of the incredibly accurate and versatile robotic arms. Simran, you're on mute.
Sorry. Anyways, moving on to the SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis is vital for mitigating risks, identifying a plan of action, and assessing the standing of a business. It should be considered when proceeding with any decision. It tells you about the internal and external factors affecting businesses. So as for the strengths, the product is unique and effective. It stands out in the market and there are no direct competitors. We also have a provisional patent, meaning that no one is able to duplicate the stand.
As for the weaknesses, we have a high cost, so we may not be able to provide this product for everyone that could reap the benefits of it, but the opportunities, they do include that there is an opportunity for our product to become a staple in the music industry with the right marketing and right business strategies.
And another opportunity that we can have would to be rent out the stand itself. This way it may be more successful as it would make the product available to a wider variety of people, as currently it is significantly expensive and it may not be affordable to all. And moving on to threats, as we know, we do have competitors who are already introduced and known in the marketplace, so that's one of our threats. And another thing to consider is that once our patent expires, competitors may be able to duplicate our technology.
And now for our consumer decision journey. So the consumer decision journey is essential to understand. It's the journey of what the consumer goes through from the moment of being introduced to the product all the way to the end of purchasing. What we need to remember is that we can lose our customers between any one of these steps. So it is crucial to try and optimize each one.
So the first step is the initial consideration, and for this step we need to ensure that we have professional, eye-catching advertisements that can attract the consumer to the product. The second step is active evaluation. So this is where the consumer will evaluate and research information about the product. They may also look at competitors, therefore it is essential that we do not lose the consumer and actively present our competitive advantage.
And from there we have the moment of purchase, so that's when the consumer actually purchases the product, and it's essential that we keep the consumer hooked and ensure that the process is feasible so that we don't lose the consumer at this point. And then lastly, we have the purchase experience. So that's everything from the moment of purchase to their entire experience with the product. Again, it's essential to ensure the consumer has a good experience, and if anything was needed with customer service, if any issues were to occur, we need to ensure that we have a good experience with that as well. This would help increase our chances of obtaining referrals.
And now for the target market. So we've essentially segmented the consumers into 3 distinct groups based on their unique characteristics and opportunities that we have seen. And we've prioritized each of the segments into what we feel is most optimal to target as of right now. So our highest priority would be music stores and concert venues. And this is because they have a larger funding and they have a higher number of guitars to tune and therefore a more substantial need. And another opportunity within this segment would that we can make a partnership and produce a B2B2C type model. And for example, we've partnered with Long and McQuaid and we can continue to do that. The only con is that if we do stick with this B2B2C partnership in the future, then we may have to sell for a lower price as we are retailing to them and we're going to be selling to them in bulk.
And then our second priority would be music schools. So the pros with music schools is that they may have a large amount of guitars that need to be tuned, and it would also be easier for beginners for their learning experience, and it would be less tedious to the teachers. And they're also very highly rental based, so if we choose to go that path, it would be very effective with the music schools. The only cons with music schools would be that they may have a very limited funding. And then our last priority would be individual guitarists and recording studios. So the pros with that is that they may have a high need for accuracy and might be willing to rent as it would be convenient to them. And the cons of that be there may not be as much as sales as we hope for, because it may be more difficult to target because there's such a wide variety. And additionally, they just simply may not be able to afford the product.
So as of the present, targeting music stores and concert venues are our top priority. But as operations grow and we achieve greater economies of scale, we can move towards targeting music schools and then individual guitarists and recording studios. This also means that Tunify will start as a B2B business, but then will become a B2B to C business and then a B2C business in the near future. Next, we'll move towards the potential tools we can use for marketing to establish Tunify into the industry. The top 5 marketing strategies that can be used to our advantage as a B2B business include ABM, digital marketing, social media marketing, celebrity endorsements, and referral marketing.
We'd like to start off with account-based marketing, also known as ABM, and it follows the opposite procedure in comparison to traditional marketing, but it's becoming a lot more common in B2B businesses because how effective the strategy is. So in traditional marketing, what happens is that we attract a large consumer segment and we personalize the advertising to this specific segment and engagement, and then we establish and complete the transaction. In ABM, what we do is identify the most impactful and efficient accounts and then curate our advertisements and our marketing based on those accounts, their needs, their wants, and their desires. And then we aim to establish relationships and then come to transactions.
So the 2 most common methods for ABM are cold calling and cold emailing. So these methods are known to be effective as they can be personalized towards the target account. So in general, cold calls are considered to be more personalized. However, cold emails are less time consuming. The emails may lead to less quantity of replies, but there will be more quality in those meetings as well. For example, Tunify can contact music stores such as the Guitar Shop, LA Music Custom Guitars, and concert venues such as the Harborfront Center Concert Stage and the Danforth Music Hall.
The Tim Ferriss email template is one of the most famous cold email templates, but it wasn't developed with the same intentions that we have at Tunify. So we adapted his email template with tips from Brian Tracy's Psychology of Selling to Achieve Our Goals, and the emails projected on the slide.
And now for digital marketing. So digital marketing is used by most B2B marketers, and there's 2 parts to this. There's the SEM, search engine marketing, and it consists of promoting your website to increase visibility on search engines. And the cost of this, it depends on how aggressively we want to market our products. But the average cost for small businesses are approximately $5,000 a month. And there is PPC, which is known as pay-per-click, and this marketing strategy is used to direct consumer traffic to websites using paid promotional ads on famous and commonly used search engines. And the advertiser pays the publisher when the ad is clicked. And this price can also range from $1 to $4 depending on your industry.
So next we have social media marketing. Social media marketing is an immensely common form in this area. Social media gives the company an opportunity to interact with the consumer through instant communication, and therefore it can be very effective when done right. Just as Tunify currently has an Instagram account, it's suggested that we expand to other platforms as well.
Celebrity endorsements. So in our case, we would partner with celebrities who are known to play guitar and have a large fan base to promote our product. So some reachable brands and individual performers that have a large enough following would be people like Julia Michaels, bands like Why Don't We, 5 Seconds of Summer, and JP Sachs. Next, for referral marketing. Referral marketing is the biggest influencer in B2B sales. It engages and leverages our company's biggest assets, which are the customers. We can include discount incentives to encourage our consumers to share their experience with other industry professionals. While the first 4 strategies are directed towards consumers, referral marketing is dependent on consumers, hoping they will refer the product to other industry professionals.
And we have 2 different select geographical areas that can be considered: North American manufacturing or overseas manufacturing. In North America, it has an abundantly greater advantages in comparison to disadvantages. And these advantages include that there are higher quality and labor standards. There would be easier communication with limited language barriers. There is a marketing appeal of being made in North America. It's a lot easier to verify reputable manufacturers. And there is a considerably faster shipping time. The 3 disadvantages include that there may be higher costs, and there might be a lower product choice because some products simply aren't made in North America, which in that case, we might have to do a combination of both manufacturing in both North America and overseas.
Now, when looking at overseas sourcing, there are abundantly more disadvantages compared to advantages. So starting off with the advantages, there may be lower manufacturing costs, and there's also a higher variety and number of manufacturings to choose from, but there also are more disadvantages. So the consumer may perceive the product as lower quality. Additionally, overseas, there may be lower manufacturing, labor standards, and intellectual property protection. Next, communication difficulties might be present as a result of language and time zone barriers. It might also be difficult and costly to verify the manufacturer initially. And lastly, there may be longer shipping times as well as cost of imports and customs.
So taking into consideration both the benefits and disadvantages, we've concluded that manufacturing in a North American facility would allow us to reap the most advantages from the process. Some of the possible manufacturers that show true potential to be able to work with Tunify are projected on the slide above.
And lastly, we'd like to introduce some possible alternate implications for the robotic arms and their computer vision.
So our first option would actually be bomb defusal. So the technology can be altered rather than being a standstill stand. It could be created as a mobile stand, just mobile, and it would be controlled by a human who has access to the arm's computer vision. From there, the computer could be trained to defuse various types of bombs, and which could potentially even save hundreds of lives.
And then there's surgical procedures, which is another implementation. So these procedures obviously require immense precision, which can be provided by the robotic arms. Another implementation would be manufacturing.
Entrepreneurship is a very risky venture to take, but it is accompanied with incomparable rewards. Tunify is an incredible company that has leveraged the power of emerging technologies to improve the lives of musicians everywhere.
This company has numerous growth opportunities, and our proposal ensures that Tunify has a scalable model with a strategic marketing advantage that will take Tunify to the next level.
Thank you for listening to our proposal. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Wow, honestly, thank you so much for that presentation. So here with me, I have myself. So I'm the president. We have Michael with me. He can say hello.
Hello.
He's the technical director. And then we also have Ryan.
Hey.
And Ryan is in charge of operations and systems engineering. So we really liked your presentation. Like, we love the slides. Like, it was really nice and modern and very clean. So we had a couple questions. So the first one, so this is the first question I had. I think Mike and Ryan might have some questions too. I really like the idea of keeping like the B2B and then going to consumer after. Like, that's definitely something that we were planning to do as well. So it's nice that that kind of resonated through in your presentation. So one question I had, so you said concert venues and I think music stores were ranked at the top. And I was just curious to know your thoughts, because obviously with COVID, there's less concerts now. So I think a lot of the traffic is driving like towards recording studios, because people are still, like, bands are still recording themselves playing like for live stream. So do you think that some of the information for the venues could be used for the studios as well, just because of how the music kind of industry has changed a little bit with COVID?
No, definitely. We were originally planning, we debated a lot whether we should place recording studios in the first group or the third group. And the only difference that we felt was that recording studios, yes, they have a lot larger funding. The only thing that in recording studios, they have a need, but they don't have that large number of guitars in comparison to like music stores. So that's why we place them. But I think definitely with the implications and current situation, we think that we would definitely be targeting recording studios a lot more as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So I think there was a question, maybe Ryan, if you want to ask, I think with manufacturing, or Mike.
This is Mike here. I just have a question toward the alternative applications. In terms of manufacturing as well as the surgical procedures, do you foresee any kind of technical risk that could possibly become a business risk further down the road with these approaches?
Well, I mean, for sure, especially with surgical procedures, if anything were to go wrong with the technology, if there are any hiccups or anything, it could backlash onto the company. But for that, what I think is essential to do is while the surgeries actually happening, I feel like it's always important to always have that backup plan present there. So I think that's really important to have. That could help with that. And another thing, stuff like insurance, I believe insurance, if you have insurance for that, like liability insurance, I believe that's what it's called. I feel that would help as well in that situation. If the technology was altered for that purpose.
Awesome. So yeah, just one final quick question. So you mentioned so I really like. I've never heard the bomb diffusal one. That's pretty interesting. The surgical, yeah, the medical space is really big. For manufacturing, did you foresee any like for instance, like aerospace or like automotive or like any specific like types of industries within the manufacturing space where the arms could be useful? I'm not sure if you had the chance to kind of go through that within your team or if you have any ideas.
Yeah, we did discuss it. Manufacturing is such a big industry. Like it can be applied to so many things. But since the robotic arms are very like precise, we were thinking that they could be used for, you know, those smaller, for example, when like within like, for example, technology, right? Like phones or something, when we're manufacturing those together, right? They require a lot of precision, maybe something like that. Aerospace is definitely one. Aerospace, what other one? There was another one that I was thinking about, but I kind of forgot. But yeah, there anything really small and precise, those industries specifically.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like I think like the smaller like technical consumer electronics makes sense. Yeah, because of the size of our arms. No, that's really cool. No, you guys did a really great job. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thanks guys. So we can have the next team go ahead and set up.
I think it's Bright Trio, if you guys are here.
Yep.
All right, you can start whenever you're ready.
We're just waiting on it. Is Annabelle here?
Imagine a world where the essence of technology and music converge. Well, you might say we already have that with Tunify. Yes, but as your advisors, we are here to help make Tunify's vision a reality. Good afternoon. My name's Harman, and these are my partners, Anmol and Sarah. And today we are here to successfully promote Tunify, a hands-free guitar tuning stand for the digital era, while also increasing the likelihood of it being a profitable venture.
To support our objective, the three topics we'll be focusing on are consumers, marketing tools, and production. To begin with, we're going to be talking about consumer segments. Now, due to the nature of Tunify's product, it holds the ability to attract quite a varied target market, consisting of music stores, recording studios, schools, concert venues, and individual musicians. However, through evaluating three value propositions, pay for value, market size, and personal gain, we've determined that during this first quarter of production, it will be best to prioritize concert venues and recording studios, as it would be the most viable in order to increase the likelihood of a successful initial launch. Now, the first thing we're going to be looking at is pay for value. That is, how feasible is it for the consumer to purchase our product? Because it is essential that the consumer segment that we choose to focus on possesses the greatest want or need for our product. Now, it is no question that the 17,600 recording studios and hundreds of concert venues across North America house many instruments that must be tuned accurately and regularly, as music quality is something that cannot be compromised for artists. The same goes for the 32,400 schools across North America. However, for the music store consumer segment, they may not use the tuning device as often as those other consumer segments who house many instruments at a time, making it a lesser priority for them. Individual guitarists, or many, have also been removed from the lineup along with music stores, as seeing that the price of a guitar can start from $150 and the Tunify guitar tuner retails for $700 and up. Buying a guitar tuner may not be on the top of their list of priorities. Now, the next thing we're going to be looking at is market size, and we have schools, recording studios, and concert venues left to consider. Statistically, it is clear that there are far more schools than recording studios and concert venues in the country. However, of those schools, only some are dedicated towards music. For example, of the 4,683 universities in the US, only 1,800 have degree-granting music programs. Thus, our market size would be far greater if we were to direct our focus towards the 18,000 plus recording studios and concert venues. That larger market size would also allow more back-end data to be gathered for that future source of revenue. And lastly, what do we gain personally from this? Now, of course, the primary benefit of prioritizing recording studios and concert venues is the profit we generate for the reasons I mentioned earlier. But that is not all. As a part of Tunify's future vision, it plans to eventually appeal to all of its target market. And a way that can be achieved is by employing grassroots marketing, in which you target your efforts to a small group of people in the hopes that that group will spread your message to a much larger audience. But why are recording studios and concert venues the best group to target for this? Well, celebrity endorsements are undoubtedly a great way to boost sales, with research from Harvard School having shown that a company's sales can increase by up to 4% after a celebrity endorsement. And seeing that recording studios are often frequented by artists, and they are supportive of our concept, we laid the groundwork for possible future collaboration. On the other hand, concert venues may also agree to a collaboration early on, and if that occurs, we can make the many concert goers aware of Tunify's product. Even if we're only able to advertise in one concert venue, each concert in North America typically houses 10,000 to 50,000 people of all age groups. In this bar graph that really shows the diversity in age ranges in concert attendees. And those concert attendees may even include other members of our target market. Thus, prioritizing recording studios and concert venues, we hold the greatest possibility of both a successful first quarter in terms of profit and a lineup of possible future sponsorships that will help Tunify in reaching its other consumer segments, not leaving them behind.
Moreover, now I will be discussing the marketing tools related to Tunify's company. So to begin with, digital marketing is now essential in the 21st era. Content builds relationships. Relationships are built on trust, and trust drives revenue. With creative content, Tunify can ensure their success in their company. Moreover, aside from grassroots marketing, a variety of marketing tools can be used by the Tunify organization in order to reach a larger market and develop promotional strategies. Primarily, the use of social media will be significant to the Tunify's company to endorse their automated tuning services. Digital marketing is a new way to ensure a larger reach and spread of word of products offered by businesses. The company's primary marketing tools should consist of social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The money can depend on different costs, from cost per click from 20 cents to $2, and on YouTube for as little as $2. And with influencers from $1,000 to almost $15K, depending on who we want to influence our business. Moreover, now I'll be discussing how Instagram can be implemented in regards to the Tunify company. A well-curated Instagram page as well as feed can show a company's creative side and endorse their products in a unique form. The use of Instagram will allow the company's audience to interact and learn more about Tunify's tuning products. With over 800 million unique users, Tunify can ensure that their interaction will be increased and engagement within their audience. There are multiple things that we can do in order to easily promote Tunify on social media platforms. This includes implementing hashtags to boost campaigns, collaborating with influencers, and creating creative content, and finally measuring their performance. With these marketing strategies, it will ensure the success of Tunify. Furthermore, Facebook allows users to create and share posts and stories through the implementation of hashtags, tagging, and unique content. With over 1 billion users on Facebook from all age groups and niches, this is a major social media platform to implement in marketing strategies for Tunify. The social influence of Facebook can be extensive and provide businesses with the opportunity to reach out to potential clients. Multiple freelance musicians use Facebook ads, join Facebook groups, and reach out, and Tunify can do the same for their company. Last, the platform of YouTube can be extremely effective in marketing strategies for music-based businesses. YouTube has over 1 billion users from over 8 countries around the world, reaching out to a large market. Tunify can showcase their tuning services and demos in order to gain attention with this unique product. With real-life demonstrations of the product, customers are more likely to trust Tunify and their product. For instance, a demo from a well-known guitarist with the product will create word of mouth. Finally, social media is changing our world. Thus, social media marketing and digital marketing will be a cost-effective marketing solution to successfully connect with Tunify's online audience.
Now on to production. So where will we begin full-scale production? So this is based off of 3 key analysis points. The first of which, benefits and cost savings. The second, the connection to marketing. And third, comparison between domestic or offshore manufacturing. So let's go right into it, starting with benefits. So there's 3 main benefits, which begin with demand. The location of full-scale production should be contingent on product demand in 2021. As of yet, product demand is unpredicted. Therefore, domestic production is completely ideal. It helps us to deliver dynamic response times to unpredictable consumer demand. Secondly, cost. Simply put, the comparatively lower Canadian dollar to the USD creates instantaneous cost savings. Furthermore, reduced logistic and transportation costs. And third, oversight. Both the customer base and the founders are located in Canada and the US. Due to the geographical consolidation, domestic manufacturing allows businesses to have complete oversight over their manufacturing operations and easily conduct on-site inspections. It also allows faster shipping times, thereby completely improving customer service. Now, made in Canada. 3 words that express the wave of buy local movement, perfect for Tunify's marketing strategy. Customers are attracted to locally crafted products. The Bank of Development of Canada even said in a study that 45% of consumers have made an effort to buy local in the past year, 87% of which believed it was more environmentally friendly, and 97% said they would buy a product to support the local economy. Paired with grassroots marketing, domestic production is optimal. However, before making any of these decisions, countries outside of Canada must be considered. The top 3 Canadian manufacturing exports markets include China, the US, and Mexico. When Canadian companies subcontract, however, to a manufacturing site, it can become difficult and costly to ensure quality and correct specifications. In prior years, it was much more common for companies to subcontract to China or choose offshore to China. But recently, many more companies have been choosing Mexico and Canada to manufacture their products out of. To compare, Mexico's peso and China's yuan, the 2 low currencies of these nations, and their reduced labor costs make both great future alternatives. However, without large volumes of confirmed demand, the cost of establishing or renting a manufacturing plant actually outweigh the savings. Moreover, the current negative political landscape, issues with quality control, and longer lead times do not allow quick response to changes in consumer demand. And actually, when the total cost of importing is built into the product, the cost of doing business overseas is much higher than the perceived per unit price from a China or Mexican factory. Hence, after careful consideration of these multiple factors, including convenience, target marketing, and demand unpredictability, it was determined that the aggregate benefits of local production outweigh the costs. Therefore, initial production for 2021 Q1 to Q4 should begin in Canada. However, it is definitely advised that this be reevaluated at the end of 2021 with a re-examination of consumer demand, sales, and other profitability determinants. Thus, what is our solution?
The consumer segment that should be prioritized are recording studios and concert venues to ensure a successful initial launch in terms of profit.
social media marketing should be implemented, including Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And full-scale production should be domestic, at least for 2021. So the time to bring Tunify to the world is now. Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
So yeah, great presentation, guys. Honestly, thank you for putting in all the time and effort. The slides looked really great, and it was honestly great to hear your feedback. I still can't believe that, you know, your students, like just the words that you use and everything, it's almost as if you're in industry already. So that's really, really cool. Yeah, so my first question, so you mentioned like using YouTube and obviously like posting videos. Do you have any thoughts on like types of potential like influencer collaborations? Like for instance, we reached out to like people who do like unboxing of devices. Is there any other, I guess, types of YouTubers that you have thought of that we could potentially collaborate with within the music space? Like not necessarily their specific name, but maybe if they're an artist or, yeah, I'm not sure if you had any time to think about that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before for YouTube, so we were thinking about real life video demonstrations that can also be showcased on Instagram and Facebook as well. And in regard to influencers, we were thinking about the lifestyle industry. As you said, like unboxings, those are easy to reach out YouTubers that would be more willing to work with us too for Tunify.
Awesome. Yeah, no, my team here really liked the lifestyle recommendation that you gave, so we jotted that down. I also have a question here from Mike regarding production. I'll just let him ask the question.
Yeah, so just a question about the manufacturing in regards to bringing it to offshore, where was there any consideration given to getting parts from, let's say, China that are more like electrical nature? So getting sub-assemblies assembled there and then having those shipped to, let's say, a North American country, either Canada or US, and having manufacturing there? Or were you looking more at having the complete assembly done in North America?
I think as of 2021, as the demand and sales are yet unpredictable and unknown, for sure from I think Q1 to Q2 or Q3, it should stay in-house in Canada domestic. But after that, after we get a sense of the pattern and sort of the graph of what consumers are leaning towards, I think, yes, it'll definitely be beneficial to offshore some of the parts or all of the business, depending on what happens in the coming time.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. Like taking kind of, you know, baby steps, and then when we kind of solidify our process, kind of slowly expanding out and seeing what works. Maybe not going fully offshore, but starting off with kind of like a bit of it offshore and then kind of scaling up in terms of like percentage as we go further. So I had one other, so I really like that that stat that you had with like, I think it was 32 million people attend concert venues. Like that's actually a statistic that we hadn't even come across. So was that in I forget if it was North America or was it the US?
For the US.
It was for the US, okay. Okay, cool. So that doesn't, so I'm sure even with Canada it'd be even bigger. So that's definitely a statistic we can use going forward as well. Like when we're pitching to kind of have that hook at the beginning. Yeah, 32 million people, wow. Okay, that's almost, that's, yeah, pretty much the population of Canada. So that's amazing. No, that's great. I think those are all the questions from my end. I'm not sure if anyone else has any questions. No? Okay, perfect. Yeah, honestly, thank you so much, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job, guys. Okay, so the next team, if you are ready, you can get set up now. The next team is
Insert name here. So Grace. Yeah, I think she's in the call.
Rush.
Is there someone else named Grace or is it me?
I think it's you, like team insert name here.
Oh, really? I'm supposed to present? Oh, wow. I'm surprised. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna load my presentation. I didn't expect that I would, okay. Okay, let's start sharing my screen. Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. Okay. So my name's Grace, and today I'll be starting off with the table of contents. So we'll be talking about the customer segment, the marketing tools, full-scale production, and the applications for robotic arms. So right now, due to COVID, there are some restrictions that are happening, and consumer behavior is shifting in regards to the music industry. Because the weight of this product is a bit heavier, that's actually a good thing, because right now many people are doing virtual concerts, and that would be more convenient for them because they can just sit the stand in their background while they're streaming. And we're also going to be talking about local production, because this would actually be more beneficial due to the restrictions. And with changing supply and demand, we think that targeting different locations and influencers based on wealth and population distribution is also a really important thing to think about. So when we're thinking about the Canadian market, between 2015 and 2020, the predictions are that it will be declining a bit. So currently the industry had required federal funding, and now artists are moving to virtual concerts. However, this is still beneficial because Tunify is really versatile and would still be usable. The revenue growth for the musical instrument and supplies industry is expected to decline, but only just a little bit. And the demand for industry products is expected to decrease due to COVID, but there still are some benefits that we could talk about later. So to start, I think that the biggest market that we could target in Canada would be music stores or companies who rent or sell used instruments, because they probably charge extra to have the item tuned or set up, and they also really have larger revenue streams to begin with. On average, since this product would be $1,500 for commercially, and it costs around $25 for regular guitar tune-ups, they'd only require around 50 to 60 tune-ups to get a return on the investment. So it's not that bad. And since there aren't that many Canadian music influencers, I think that the music store industry is the best. And I think that Long & McQuaid, they specialized in used and new instruments, but also offer tuning services, so they'd be an ideal partner. And they're also clearly willing to invest to make their store more comfortable and better for consumers. They already spend a lot on inventory, and they already have over 1,300 musicians employed, as well as over 80 locations in Canada. Also, there are 3 other major shareholders in the music industry that include Cosmo Music and Tom Lee Music. Cosmo Music has around $37 billion in revenue, according to Zoom Info, and Tom Lee Music has around 5 to 75 million due to different websites. But having these partnerships with these larger music stores is really important, because they already have established partnerships with schools and local musicians. So it would be easier to gain connections through partnerships with these larger stores. And the market size in Canada for the music industry is around $916 million, with over 1,200 businesses. Thus, it is a good place to start here. A sample would be in the Mississauga area. And I have over here around 3 organizations that I think would be a good fit. So that includes the Long & McQuaid, the Main Street Music store in Streetsville, as well as this independent band. I think that in terms of marketing tools to reach a larger audience, I'd first recommend social media marketing, because these channels such as Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, live streams, and Reddit are really free, and it's really easy to scale. And as well as using LinkedIn Premium to reach out to these larger stakeholders, such as the CEO of Long & McQuaid and other CEOs of larger companies through direct cold calling and emailing. I also recommend website marketing and analytics, such as the tool called Hotjar, because it's easier to find all your analytics in one tool, and you can also conduct a 5-second test. So you can have different web users look at your website for 5 seconds, and you can get feedback on your website, as well as these other tools here. I think that in terms of content creation, I definitely recommend Canva because it's easier to create posters, but there are also other apps such as BuzzSumo, which allow you to look at articles with popular keywords, and you can find what keywords attract more customers and potential clients. In terms of social media management tools, I'd recommend the app Crowdfire because it's an easier way to engage with consumers, especially when they're mass emailing or messaging the same thing. So it's easier to target and automate your answers to people. And I'd definitely recommend search engine optimization tools such as Google AdWords keyword planning because you can find different volumes for each keyword and also get detailed reports for specific keywords as well as Google Search Console because you can monitor how Google perceives your website as well as keep track of what keywords visitors are using to reach you. And I'd also recommend acquiring a .com or .co domain in addition to your .ca domain so that it's more search engine optimization friendly and it appeals to all people. In terms of lead generation, I definitely recommend ClickFunnels because there's easy ways to combine different factors such as video and blogs writing all together to get more leads and to convert more people to purchase through your website. So I definitely recommend having like a video here, a landing page, and then having a sales page, getting emails, and also just upselling your product, as well as partnerships with different influencers and YouTube videos. I definitely recommend full-scale production by getting different parts from Asia, for example, and importing them to Canada, and then assembling the products in Canada or US so that you can cater to the consumer market. Currently, people want to buy more closer to where they live. And for example, if you're selling in US, you can import the products to US and then assemble them there. And then you can just say assembled in US, and then for Canada, likewise. And I think that it would be more cost effective, and also the costs here vary by state, but in US, the minimum wage is $8 to $13 per hour, and in Canada, it's around $14. So depending on where you live, it would be different. I think that musical industries and artists in the US are a good group to target for this product because the entertainment industry in US is really one of the world's greatest. And even regardless of this pandemic, your industry is still projected to grow by 0.3%. So it's very strong. And even though a lot of music has pivoted to online and internet streaming, it's still a great product to use in the background, and definitely people still use guitars in their streams. I think a good way would be to target celebrities that are signed to major record labels and potentially having a big partnership with these record labels to secure partnerships with these larger influencers and artists, such as Universal Music Group, Sony, Warner, and independent labels. Some artists that are signed under these labels include Taylor Swift and Lana Del Rey. And as we can see here, the market size is over $7 billion in the US alone. So it's definitely a large group. And in the US market, again, a mix of targeting music stores and different partnerships with musical artists is important because the revenue generated from these concerts is still expected to be a large amount. The US market alone is again worth over $6 billion. And these are the largest major shareholders in the retail market for musical instruments. And that would probably lead also to repairs and etc. So that includes Guitar Center, Sweetwater, Sam Ash, and American Musical Supply. Again, in terms of artists, I think that it's really important to collaborate with major artists that can cater to the millennials and also the older audiences. And that includes Billie Eilish or Taylor Swift. And this also connects to the wow factor because this product is so unique and it's definitely something that can cause people to be really intrigued. I think that having these partnerships with artists would be really important to convincing richer people to also buy the product. And even though COVID has caused consumer preferences to shift, I still think that the retail market for musical instruments is still going to grow in US. As they said here, it's still projected to grow by around 2% every single year. And in terms of potential applications, it could be used for rotating products, so tuning pianos, writing letters, engraving different materials, as well as the medical field, so for surgery, prosthetics, colonoscopies, body scannings, as well as astronomy, so assisting humans by ensuring they're connected to this rocket and getting tools, as well as through agriculture, so lifting plants, harvesting, picking, weed control, autonomous mowing, pruning, seeding, phenotyping, sorting, and packing, as well as utility platforms, food packaging and shipping, handling, and warehouses such as Amazon, which use it for fulfillment, as well as for construction, so engineering, physical material manufacturing, urban development, carrying materials and supplies. And another reason why I think that music stores are really important is that other places like schools are currently being closed because of COVID, and a lot of students don't really have that much money to purchase these products or urge their universities to purchase it. Online activities have moved virtual, and thus recording studios also have a decline in people going there physically. I also think that our target audience is really musicians who play music themselves and use it more often. So definitely getting those influencers as well as those music stores to purchase the product is really important. And recording studios often just provide the space for recording, so they don't really specialize in guitar tuning or repairing, etc. And in the US, I think that would be the exception because they obviously have really large major recruiting studios there, and they require and they have that supply and demand. So that's important. And again, small recording studios often host vocalists and other things, so they're not a good target. So that's why I think that music stores for both Canada and US is important, as well as just getting that influencer partnership as well in the US. And this is an example of some stores in the Toronto area, and I again recommend Long and McQuaid, as well as those bigger stores that have probably more than 100 reviews on Google. And this is an example of Los Angeles, where the Guitar Center there has the most. So yeah, thank you.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, really great job, Grace. Like, we really appreciate the level of detail, and like it was very comprehensive, which is really great. So yeah, like you brought up some really great points, like the 20 million from like the federal government for concert venues, like that's something that we hadn't really known. So that's great. We also appreciate the fact that you've used some really great tools like Zoom Info. That's like a really powerful tool. And yeah, I think it's great. Thanks for recommending like Tom Lee and Cosmo, and like looking for like Steve Long as well.
Thanks.
So one of the questions I had, I think it was earlier in your presentation, you had a section related to like, it said like 60 tune-ups. I think it was like to get like your money back.
Yeah, return on investment. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just curious to know kind of like how that number was created, because I think it's a really interesting metric, and it's something that we'd be interested to like learn more about.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to call more stores today, but apparently they're all closed on Sundays. But I searched up, and approximately $25 is actually on the lower end. So that's only for a tuning, so just like tuning. But I know that setups, which is like you're doing the string maybe, and you're also like cleaning and polishing, that normally runs at least $100. So really, it's not that big of an investment if you think about the other adaptations that you could add to this product. Like if you can add like restringing or like some kind of like cleaning thing, that could definitely improve the value. And yeah, I just found on this website, I think Long and McQuaid, they charge between like $20 to $30 for restringing and tuning. And other websites, they charge like $25 for the tuning. So that's where I got the number from.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And restringing is definitely something that we had thought about, because we have the robotic arms to be able to like turn the pegs. So like restringing is actually, would be pretty like easy to do. Like it would require a little bit of work and development, but like the functionality is there. So we have the space to work with. I have another question, but just before that, I'll kind of, Mike had a quick question regarding risk. So I'll just let him jump in.
Yeah, overall, amazing job from what I saw, and looking from more of a technical side. I just was curious, have you come across any kind of risks just in general, to any recommendations you have? I've noticed there's a lot of positive feedback toward things. I'm just curious if there's any kind of anything that we should probably look out for.
Yeah, I think definitely just with COVID, I think that a lot of it just has to do with like consumer behavior. I know that a lot of concert goers, they've actually had their tickets renewed for next year. So that's actually a good sign. I think over 75% of consumers who've had their tickets canceled for this year, they've actually re-renewed it. So I think that just maybe even that risk of capturing the audience to still maintain their old habits. So making sure that people still go to concerts and support these musicians, because with live streaming and with virtual music being more popular, that's declining sales for other musicians, because a lot of them require concerts to really make a bulk of their revenues. And probably just finding a way to support those concert goers and artists who are trying to make that transition to digital live streaming or concerts, and just integrating some kind of maybe even software that can help them with ensuring that it's a smooth transition. And yeah, just trying to navigate those trends with that music industry, which is a bit shaky right now,
Yeah.
especially in Canada.
No, that's great. Great answer. So I think it's 5 minutes. So I'll quickly ask one more question. So we really like the idea of like agriculture. Like that's definitely a growing space. Pretty big market there. Just out of curiosity, like there's obviously like no pressure for you like looking in that space, but was there a specific like process or yeah, like within that field that you kind of saw a direct application for the arms? Like, I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
like planting or like, putting out fertilizer or anything like that. I'm not sure if anything crossed your mind.
Yeah, I think that propagation is a really good way because I think that growing things from seed takes so long. So I think that helping plants, like helping farmers to propagate things, so just taking cuttings and then regrowing those products can save millions of dollars because like just the process is really lengthy. So fertilizer, cutting, and just moving those plants around is really good, especially with climate change being such a big priority. Just helping people plant more trees, grow more trees, more plants. It's definitely, yeah, and food as well.
Yeah. No, fantastic. No, yeah, great job. I think that's all the
Thanks.
questions from our end. So yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Okay. I think the next team is We Remote. Are you guys on the call? That would be Hussein and Annie. But I don't think they're in the call right now. Let me just see if I have any message to use a recording for them. Okay, I don't think so. Are the Mavericks on the call right now?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you guys can go right now and I will email We Remote to see what's up with them.
Yeah, sounds good. Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Can we start?
Sorry, one sec. Yeah.
I think you guys are good to start.
So we're just waiting for team members.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm good. I'm good.
So I think just to begin, we just want to say hello to the judges and all our peers. We hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. We go by the team name of the Mavericks, and my name is Matab. With me are my team members Soham and Sarah, and we're beyond excited to share our ideas with you today. So to begin, we'd like to acknowledge that the plan and research that follows took a rather unorthodox and hyper-focused approach to Tunify, while still maintaining the company's key values and goals. This approach that is to be discussed is based largely on our ideal that Tunify as a product, especially in regards to the first 100 units or those to follow in the first year, caters largely to needs in place of wants. Hence, we believe it is in the company's best interest to fully exploit and pursue such a present need. To elaborate, it was evident off the bat that of the 3 questions given to us, Both the second and third could all only be based on the first. In turn, to address the first question, we had to beg some questions of our own. Firstly, as true believers in niche marketing, we had to ask ourselves, who is the current competition and who do they cater to? Immediately, we first turned to the competitors laid out by Tunify for us, namely Rode2 and Tronical Tuner. Although we were quick to understand that, as Michael had identified, both these products target the demographic of individual guitarists, which is one that Tunify looks beyond, we still wanted to explore their success and appeal in the eyes of guitarists. As a result, we took upon research of our own, not only in the form of data found on the internet, but also pure data we conducted through surveying guitarists from the ages of 16 and upwards. Of a sample group of 30 people, we asked questions in regards to if they find tuning their guitars tedious and troublesome, if it hindered their performance or passion, what tuning solution they currently used, and what they considered to be expensive in terms of tuning solutions. To our surprise, this batch of individual guitarists did not consider tuning a huge issue, as it only took a small time of their day. Moreover, we found an interesting value held by nearly 3/4 of the people interviewed, in which they considered knowing how to tune their guitar manually and by ear an important skill. One testimonial said, in regards to tuning as a beginner, it's a simple enough process and I don't think I found it frustrating even as a kid. It's just an important skill to know, as training your ear is a valuable lesson that can go a long way. However, and to our greatest emphasis, we discovered that in reality, the competitors mentioned and Tunify are not only competing against each other in the automatic and accessible tuning space, but also against smartphone apps such as Guitar Tuna, which 50% of the people interviewed used and costs less than $20 monthly and even has a free option. This app was also used by performers in our sample of interviewers and shared space alongside people using roughly $20 electric tuners. Finally, we discovered that nearly everyone interviewed did not personally justify a purchase over $50 for any tuning solution, and this fell in line with data we found online. We say this as, according to Statista, in 2018, the United States average expenditure on consumer musical instruments and accessories cropped up to $33 per consumer unit. This number, relative to Tunify's $800 price tag, would not have the benefit exceed costs for individual guitarists, both beginner and professional, as it's too great of a cost to save them only a few minutes. Overall, we came to the conclusion that Tunify should at least fully avoid this consumer space, for individual and enthusiast consumers exist on a want basis, while business, schools, and bands exist on a need basis, given Tunify's quick volume tuning and accuracy. Thus, for the purpose of our pitch, we finalized Tunify as a B2B operation that can very well exploit this mentioned space, as there are no other tuning solutions to compete with that offer the accessibility, speed, and reliability of Tunify. Since the automated tuning market is currently unexploited by competitors, filling this niche market can offer the chance to market yourself as a premium product with a premium price, until the competitors react by entering too. Consumers will often pay more for an exclusive product. This would project a brand similar to Apple, carrying the brand values of reliability, innovation, and efficiency.
This leads us into our proposed marketing strategy for Tunify, which focuses on 3 primary channels of marketing in the form of viral, influencer, and traditional media marketing. However, these 3 channels, although different in nature, all will perform on the basis that Tunify is revolutionary in character, unlike anything the music industry has ever seen. You see, in the form of viral marketing, we would like to debunk the myth that viral marketing campaigns do not prove to be effective in the B2B space. At the end of the day, it just boils down to humans marketing human emotions through the medium of content. Looking at the success of other companies' viral campaigns, such as Volvo and General Electric, it is evident that for a product as revolutionary as Tunify, it carries virality in nature. This, coupled with the creative video campaign that exhibits the need for Tunify, can be projected in the eyes of prospective businesses. Hence, we introduced one possible campaign we came up with for the product at hand, which we called #TunifyVersus, in which we believe that Tunify can capitalize off the speed and reliability of its product by comparing it to unrelated yet interesting products in the world, such as cars and world records. By doing this, an immediately interesting campaign would spread through traditional users of social media, straight to the business people that form the company's target audience. Here, we developed a short mock-up of what one segment of such a viral campaign could look like. Similarly, Tunify could also benefit from influencer marketing, for influencers do not simply carry influence over consumers, but businesses as well. To make this more clear, we would like to shed light on the fact that an influencer does not only have to be viewed as a celebrity that individuals look up to. This is said for, as major artists using the stand can attract other bands and other businesses, and the same can be said vice versa. By using world-famous recording studios as influencer outlets, Tunify can attract more and more bands and professionals and allow for a trickle effect to occur throughout the entire B2B space. Finally, and arguably the most effective, push the idea that Tunify is a technology company, offering a musical solution, and have this resonate through traditional media outlets at launch by creating popularity amongst your revolutionary new idea. This would take the form of developing press kits, which you could send to major tech outlets such as The Verge and TechCrunch, both of which have proven to bring mass popularity to tech products, and as well as musical news outlets such as the Rolling Stone and Billboard, and really sell the idea that Tunify is the most premium and effective tuning solution on the market. Another crucial piece of traditional marketing is having an effective website. This website must maintain a professional and realistic stance since it is essentially pitching to potential business customers. However, it must also be eye-catching in order to entice further sales and gain popularity. We have designed a sample homepage to demonstrate what this may look like and hopefully garner inspiration for the Tunify founders. You can visit the site at the link provided, or we can send it manually after.
Having said this, there is one last fundamental piece to marketing and selling Tunify as a premium and revolutionary offering, and that is manufacturing. Operations and productions is primarily concerned with three concepts: efficiency, quality, and innovation. To begin, we had to think within a broader scope when determining the best possible solution for the production concern. As a premise, we found that it is best to evaluate domestic versus international choices first. As a disclaimer, we found North American production to be the most viable choice, and here's why. Considering the fact that you are aiming for 100 units in the first quarter, it is not viable nor economical to go the extra step and manufacture in a different continent. Only when you achieve massive sales numbers with extensive demand will you be able to leverage economies of scale and be able to effectively produce in international factories. Furthermore, when dealing with countries like China, there is much more likeliness of business friction. Dealing with foreign countries, issues of time zone, language, and cultural issues will make it quite a bit harder to communicate in comparison to domestic affairs. To provide an anecdote, a couple of our group members were part of a business competition called Launch X. Whilst building our business case, we tried to iron out a manufacturing plan and ended up contacting over 100 Chinese manufacturers. Due to time zone issues and communication fallacies, it took us months just to find one viable company. When samples were finally ordered, the communication issues led to the sample being very flawed and different from our vision. As such, international friction led to the demise of our business and pursuit of this company. In order to seal the deal, we found that North American production is more in line with your marketing values. Due to the fact that this business would largely benefit from focusing on business-to-business sales, North American manufacturing could mean a great deal. Since you would be dealing with other businesses directly, you must note that these businesses will care much more about quality assurance, social responsibility, and sustainability as compared to individuals who would do less research and have less forethought about production. In terms of the means of production, it should be handed off to other productional services rather than Tunify onboarding the toil of productions themselves, since it would be more efficient to have another, more experienced business provide the means to perform and manage manufacturing. Such businesses include Fanuc Inc., Kawasaki, or America's own Rethink Robotics. During our survey of potential production candidates, we found Salt Lake City to be optimal. For one, government grants work as an incentive, providing adequate funding for Tunify's outsourcing venture. Such grants are presented as financial aid through the Utah government in the form of the Wayne Brown Institute, offering $400,000, and the Utah Micro Enterprise Loan Fund, offering up to a total of $50,000 for business ventures and startups. In addition, corporate tax rates differ drastically. Ontario holds a general rate of 11.5% and Utah with a flat rate of 5%. The eager, growing, and fairly adaptable workforce of Salt Lake City is propelling the growth of the tech industry, with Forbes foreseeing Salt Lake City's rise of becoming the next Silicon Valley. Another benefit of such productional choices is the intrinsic extension of market reach. Evidently, manufacturing in the US would allow access to US consumer markets due to existing infrastructure and transport benefits. The US is home to some of the most flourishing musical businesses and groups worldwide, which will give further access to more business consumers, both large and small. Furthermore, the rather large demographic of the US, coupled with relatively high standard of living, allows for a higher consumer demand for premium and expensive musical instruments. This further boosts the demand by companies to have tools such as Tunify that upkeep these instruments.
To provide a deviation, here is our idea for possible further applications. Our premise began by realizing the primary capabilities for Tunify, which are speed and precision. After the Industry 4.0 workshop, our thoughts went straight to possible technologies from Tunify that are applicable. One of the main focuses of the shift toward automation of industry is the emphasis on network-equipped devices. These typically include small items that pack a lot of automated functionality. We feel that the manufacturing of these IoT devices could be largely augmented by Tunify's robot arm technology. Since these devices are typically small and tightly packed devices, the manufacturing them requires extreme precision and caution, since it will be working directly with the microtechnologies. With the precision of Tunify's robotic arms, these devices can be manufactured effectively. Furthermore, since these IoT devices typically work as cheaper accessories, their production volume will be quite high, which requires robotic arms that act quickly without losing precision. Tunify's arms completely suit the occasion.
From a long-term standpoint, the operations are by no means non-immutable and can be changed to suit larger quantities and growing demand. However, considering current resources and an introductory market, we find this plan to be most suitable. Thank you for your time.
Hey guys, honestly, great presentation. I really liked all the work that you did, honestly, like with the video, the webflow.io. I think you took like a really interesting approach on the presentation. Like you started off with the research, and we really appreciate you going out and kind of creating your own statistics. Like that's like one of the best ways to get that information. So we really appreciate that. And I really like the innovative way of your presentation, right? Like you started with the research, and then based off that validation, you went through and then made your suggestions. So one question I had was, I like the idea of like the marketing campaigns, and thanks for putting one together like as an example for us. So for the Tunify versus, like I watched the video, so it's kind of like, so from my understanding, is it like Tunify versing kind of like another technology and showcasing like our speed and reliability? Is that like the main premise of that marketing campaign?
Yeah, so like most definitely, we can also show you again, the Google Slides automatically skips the first introductory seconds of the video. But generally speaking, the concept was just, we work with the strengths of Tunify. And right now what we could think that we could really leverage in like an interesting campaign would be the speed. And so I think we decided to go kind of the unconventional route and really use that speed and compare it to things like something just, it would sound irrational, but it would garner interest. So like cars or world records. And so that was kind of where the mindset came from. And yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's really cool. And those marketing campaigns generally like invoke interest and excitement. So yeah, thanks for doing that. That's really cool. I like the point on the Utah corporate tax and going through like Salt Lake City and looking for areas of production, and then showcasing like the different metrics like quality assurance, as well as, you know, being able to like for communication, things like that. So I had another question along the lines of like IoT. So did you envision, like, I guess using the robotic arms, I guess like in manufacturing, then having them connected to the internet to do different tasks? Is that kind of what you were presenting there?
Well, it's somewhat like that, but what our kind of vision was is that you already see that in a lot of factories, such as car manufacturing, for example, you do see like robotic arms end up actually making them. So we were thinking like, what if that could be scaled down a little bit? Because, for example, something like a car doesn't require the same sort of precision as something like, you know, Raspberry Pi, an IoT device. Like you would probably need much more precision with it actually being an exposed device that requires each component to be carefully placed. And we feel like one of the main benefits of Tunify's robot arms was how precise it was. So we feel that we could use that to make a carefully constructed device.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, that was really cool. So let me just see. I just took down some notes here. Oh yeah, out of just curiosity, the research that you did, how many guitarists did you speak with?
We spoke to 30 guitarists.
30 guitarists. Wow, thanks for doing that. Honestly, research is so important. No, that's really cool. And that's part of the reason why, yeah, we went towards business as well. So thanks for justifying that, because we can definitely use those statistics for future presentations. But yeah, no, altogether, I like the quality of your slides, very modern. And I really like the approach you took, like starting with the research and then going into your suggestions based off that. So yeah, great job, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. So if the next group is ready to go, you guys can set up as well. Screen sharing is on.
All right. How's our audio? Yeah, hello.
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, is our team ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, sounds good. Good afternoon, judges. We appreciate you taking this time out of your day to meet with us and discuss the next steps for Tunify. Hi, I'm Nathaniel.
I'm Ayan. I'm Arya. And I'm Soria.
And we're your business advisors for today. Team set.
Today's meeting will focus on your 4 main topics: our customer segment, marketing scheme, product production location, and finally a pitch for a new idea. Starting off with our customer segment, we propose targeting music stores as our primary customer segment, along with concert venues or recording studios as our secondary customer segment would benefit us the most. We do not suggest targeting individual musicians or schools, as we do not see many sales coming from them due to the high price point of these mechanical tuners. In the future, when the company has more recognition and can lower prices, this may be possible. Both music stores and Tunify benefit from having a supplier and customer relationship. With the industrial robotic tuner, workers save a lot of time and stores may see an increase in sales. The robotic tuner tunes a lot faster and eliminates the factor of human error. This makes employees' jobs a lot more easier, and at the end of the day, they don't actually have to manually reset and retune the guitar. The tuner is a lot more accurate than human tuning, making the guitar sound better and can make customers more inclined to purchase the guitar, as they will subconsciously feel better when playing on a better tuned one.
Music stores are a large and expanding market, meaning Tunify has a great opportunity to make a large profit. The tuner sitting in the stores being used is also an opportunity for free advertising and possible sales. Long and McQuaid, who have expressed interest in our product, have over 80 stores in Canada alone. We understand that they have expressed interest in putting this product in stores as well. The opportunity for sales is present when a music store shopper enters a store and is intrigued by the tuner. They can go online from there and purchase a tuner for themselves. However, we don't plan on solely relying on this as our marketing strategy.
Concert venues and recording studios are another target area that we recommend. Similar to music stores, purchasing a Tunify tuner is a win-win situation for both parties. We recommend this as a secondary option, however, as the market is not as large, and getting a foot in the door may deem to be a challenge. The tuner makes tuning fast and efficient in loud areas such as backstage for concerts. Fast tuning makes larger sales for the venue hosts as they have more performing time. Tunify benefits from this because it introduces our product to famous guitarists and spreads our brand name from word to mouth. If a musician is interested in our product, we can work with them towards creating marketing plans and promotional material.
Here's a sales breakdown. If our calculated assumptions come true, Tunify can earn roughly $516,500 in revenue through targeting these 3 segments. We broke this cost down with the assumptions that we sell 3 industrial tuners to 100 music stores, sell an industrial tuner to 35 concert venues, and a home tuner to 20 recording studios. We came up with these numbers off research.
Long & McQuaid has 80 locations themselves. We took this into account and assumed an additional 20 more music stores bought from us. We chose to sell 3 each because music stores have around 50 guitars, meaning 1 tuner just won't do enough. There are 35 cities in the USA with a population of 500,000 or more. These large-scale cities are most likely to host concerts and festivals, along with having the budget to purchase tuners. Finally, we decided upon 20 studios because Toronto and the GTA alone have over 50 studios. However, we want to target the high-end ones, which can afford us. Therefore, we chose a number 20.
We now move on to the marketing section. 2020 has been and continues to be an exciting year for Tunify as a brand. We understand you guys are pitching on Dragon's Den in September and plan to maximize your brand awareness.
We have developed a 3-step plan to follow. Firstly, create a viral video through aggressive social media marketing. Next, hold workshops and events at tech and music conferences. And finally, go on television and speak about the robotic tuner.
Our first step is social media marketing. Your social media platforms are free and cost-efficient publicity. We plan on increasing your follower count on Instagram along with giving your feed a clear-cut theme between music and technology. This can lead to an eventual verification on Instagram that will give the audience more credibility towards your brand. We plan on doing this by holding events such as live streams, giveaways, or weekly themed posts such as Music Monday or Technology Tuesday. Another social media marketing strategy that is currently extremely popular right now is TikTok. Becoming viral on TikTok is a very doable feat thanks to its user-friendly algorithm. A combination of following trends, posting what you want, the proper sound, and the right hashtags can make a video go viral in minutes.
While marketing on social media, we suggest entering step 2, conferences and networking. Having booths or workshops at events such as Toronto Tech Summit or Juno Week will prove to be highly effective as they are a great place to connect with not only investors, but as well as known people in the tech and music industries. Their connections can lead to sales and deals with music store franchises, concert venues, and even large-scale record labels. It is important to market this brand to people from all sorts of different walks of life.
The final step is to meet with local talk shows and news stations to publicize our products. Morning shows similar to CP24 are great ways to get our brand awareness. Tunify can pitch themselves as a local GTA brand that is fusing technology and music to create something new and never seen before. These interviews will get your brand high awareness in general public. Not to mention, once the Dragon's Den pitch is aired, you will get that as well.
We now enter into the discussion of where we should be manufacturing the Tunify robotic tuners. We took into account the price of production, delivery costs, and business ethics when making this decision. Considering all of our clients are located mainly in North America, we eliminated the option of producing in countries overseas such as China or Bangladesh because the delivery fees are not worth the cheap labor and parts. The two options we came up with are two tech-savvy locations, Huntsville, Canada and Seattle, USA. Both options have their pros and cons, however. Producing in Canada is more expensive, with parts being more scarce. However, delivery expenses are significantly cheaper due to Huntsville's proximity to the GTA area. America has cheaper labor and more readily available materials. However, the delivery costs are expensive as we will be practically shipping across the country for the products to get here.
Here's a financial breakdown of how expensive it would be to produce in Canada versus America. As you can see, production and material costs are more expensive in Canada, but delivery fees are substantially lower. For the time being, we suggest staying in Canada and producing everything here. However, as the company grows and the demand for products increase, we can look towards producing in countries such as America or even overseas.
Currently, Tunify has one product, the robotic guitar tuner. We suggest in the next 5 years that unveiling a new product in the line of robotic tuners would be very beneficial. Coming from personal experience, I can say that in my 10 years of playing the drums, tuning can be a very challenging and time-consuming task. Being off-pitch even slightly can cause very major rifts in the band and can make very different problems in the band because it sets the tune of other instruments. Hence, we feel that for these reasons, we believe the next tuner should be the robotic drum set tuner. There is a market for this as nearly 2.5 million Americans alone play the drums. We see this as the next logical step in robotic tuning and have hopes for there to be a robotic tuner for every instrument someday.
And that concludes our meeting for today. And we open to the floor for any questions now. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for presenting, guys. I really like the recommendations you put through. Yeah, so I really like the slide overview. I like the idea of like the tech conferences. That's something that would be really interesting. And that's really big now with like live streams and like conferencing on Zoom, like tech conferences and like expositions are really big. So that's definitely something we're gonna like probably push more. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, I like the sales projections. So like you looked at some quantities for the different customer segments and looked at some of those sales projections there, which is great. Really appreciate the Seattle and I think it was
Huntsville.
Those two locations within Canada and the States, and the innovation with drums too. That was really, really cool. So one question I had for the graph, when you were showcasing like the production, like Canada versus America, I was just curious to know, like, so those numbers, was that based off like a paper, like a research paper, or because like we'll probably like benchmark those off of, because we have a financial model as well, and we just want to make sure that we are, or at least that like the numbers look similar, if we have like the right mindset. So yeah, I was just out of curiosity how
Right.
those numbers were generated.
So we found these numbers through different websites. For example, with our delivery costs, that's what I think is most effective we found here. We found that delivering using container freights is the most common way that companies deliver, right? And in America, per mile, it's cheaper. It's $2 per mile compared to Canada, which I believe is roughly 2.25 around there. However, the reason we chose to stick in Canada is because Huntsville is only roughly like 200 miles away from Toronto, whereas Seattle is almost 1.5 thousand.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And yeah, thank you for putting a full graph together. Like, we really appreciate that. It definitely helps us to have some additional numbers to kind of benchmark ourselves off of. Yeah, so thanks for explaining that. Another question, I guess more on like the creative side. Like, so you obviously mentioned TikTok, and TikTok is a music platform in itself, right? So I was just curious to know if you thought of any potential ways to gain traction on TikTok. Like, I know there's like challenge videos, like obviously like different dances you can do. There's also like a big push for like TikTok learning, where people do like different quick learning tutorials and that. So did you have any ideas potentially how we could leverage TikTok to do some type of promo?
Well, the thing with TikTok is like, because so many people use it for different reasons, right? Obviously, you said it's like a more music and dance catered platform, but over the past couple months, that's like almost completely changed. Like, I've come across TikToks that are focused on the stock market. I've come across people promoting their like restaurants, businesses, and it's not like they're dancing or anything. They're just using, like, for example, a trendy sound that other people are using, or that famous TikTokers are using, and then they're promoting their product. So for example, one thing I would suggest is kind of like, before posting anything, I would go through, like, whenever you decide to post, the sounds that are popular at that moment that have the most traction, and the hashtags that gain the most traction. And then I would, kind of make a video. It doesn't have to be a high budget video. It could just be something you film on your phone of your machine, kind of tuning your guitar, and then put that sound in the background, and maybe in the description put all those trendy hashtags. And so kind of what TikTok does is, most people should know this, it's like it associates those sounds and hashtags and sends them to people who watch those type of videos. And because it's a trendy sound and those are trendy hashtags, you're mostly guaranteed to reach like thousands of people.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. So yeah, so it seems like the hashtags, like the sound, are important. Would like tagging, like similar accounts be useful as well? I'm just, because I'm learning as well. Like, I've used TikTok a little bit, but like I'm definitely trying to like learn more about like the functionality.
Well, if we were to kind of like tag, or trying to get the help of other accounts, I would kind of like focus on other like tech savvy accounts, or like tech savvy creators on the app, and whether they respond or not, right, depending on how big they are, I would try to, you could duet their videos with your video of the robotic tuner. And if they respond, I mean, their audience will also see it, and that will create an even bigger kind of consumer audience.
Sure. If I can add on to that, on TikTok, there's a feature where you can duet famous people or other videos. So we can duet videos. For example, let's say we want to duet a guitarist or someone in the music industry. We can duet them and relate it back to the Tunify products. That way people can see it more, because if you see someone who you know already on TikTok being duetted, you might be more inclined to watch the video, like it, share it.
And it's not like a one-time thing. Like, I've seen so many like people do clothing brands and other types of companies, and what they don't like post once and expect to go viral. Like, they'll post continuously, or they'll post multiple different stuff, or try to duet different people, so that slowly but surely they'll be gaining traction. And so when people do click on your page, they can access a link to your website, or they can see other videos you posted.
Yeah. No, that's great. I know we have 5 minutes for questions, but no, I really like those ideas for TikTok. And like if we were to like duet a famous artist, like say for instance like Ed Sheeran or someone, and you know his guitar's out of tune, and then like we have the duet with our stand on the side. I think that's a
Yeah.
really interesting way to gain some traction too. So, but yeah, no, altogether, great presentation, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Michael, I had one more thing to say. I know we're going a bit over time here, but I know like some of my group members probably won't agree with this. But basically, I was thinking, you know, Arya said that at first it probably isn't a good idea to sell to schools and, you know, create a market in schools. But I think using other string instruments, it would actually be very helpful, at least only in Ontario, because in Ontario, there's a strings program with different instruments like the ukulele. I know in middle school, most students learn the ukulele as part of their thing. And, you know, some people don't know what they're doing when they're tuning, or the teachers have to retune every single ukulele when they have to go back and arrange everything. So I was just thinking it's a far-fetched idea, but, you know, there's less handles and less strings to actually tune on a ukulele. It'll probably cost less maybe, but at the same time, it's going to be a bigger market because a lot of middle schools use ukuleles in their program, and the whole strings program is very helpful because you can use different instruments, and you know they could probably use this technology very efficiently. So that's one of the ideas I had.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And is that called the strings program? Is there like a name for that program?
Yeah, I think it's the strings. I think it's the strings program, but I'll just
program. Cool. Yeah. No, that's a really good idea, and that's definitely something we've thought about is expanding out to other stringed instruments. But part of that is understanding which ones to prioritize, right? So the ukulele definitely has come up in conversation before. So I think that definitely kind of solidifies that we should prioritize that instrument. And I think there, yeah, as you said, there's less tuning pegs as well. So it would kind of make it easier. But no, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe those are all the presentations. We did have a sixth one scheduled, but unfortunately, they won't be able to present right now. And they don't have a recording either. So the judging can happen based on those 5. And so we can reconvene around 5:15, 5 or 5:15 with your team, Michael, and we can announce the winner at that time.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that sounds great. 5:15, and we'll be on the same link, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, thank you everyone for presenting, and we'll be back in around 30 minutes.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.